Hey YouTube. So before we get started, I just want to give you a little background slash introduction on myself. My name is Andrew, Andy, Din, whichever one you prefer. I've been drifting for about 3 years, 4 years maybe, on and off. I missed a year. 2018, I broke the car, decided to turbo it while I was down. Anyways, that's a completely different vehicle that I still have. So, me and a friend of mine, we decided that we wanted to step into the world of competitive drifting. So, about 2 months ago in April, I believe, end of April, we picked up another S13 coupe. This one's a slick top. Yeah, no sunroof, no leaks. And it was running and driving. It had an LQ4 in it, which is a iron block 6 liter out of like a, I think it was like an early 2000s Chevy Silverado Sierra 2500. It had T56, wiring specialties harness, Sickie swap kit, you know, the usual. When we got it, it didn't sound too hot. I thought it sounded like a dead lifter or two or three. So I decided to grab it anyways. It was a good price. Basically, it cost me what the swap kit and a clean chassis would have cost me anyway. I had planned on going through it and adding my own personal touches to it, so it didn't seem like a bad deal at the time. Still kind of doesn't, but we're in a little farther than I wanted to be at this point in time for having the car only 2 months. So took the car home, and within the weekend, we pulled the heads off and no bad lifters. Decided to dig in a little more. I pulled the motor out, gutted it. Found out that the previous owner who had put the motor together had two O-rings for the oil pump pickup tube. And one of them was pinched, not like it matters because it shouldn't have two O-rings in there anyways. So no oil pressure, stuffed the bottom end, rod knock, you know, the whole nine. So ended up taking that motor and I gave it to a friend of mine who wants to build a monster turbo 6 liter. So he's got that now, and we picked up this pretty decent, I don't know how many miles are on it, 4.8 LR4 iron block. You know, we really wanted an aluminum block motor just for the extra about what 80 100 pounds off of the nose of the car, but for now, just for the sake of getting the thing running and back on the road, well, track, because this is going to be a dedicated drift car, we picked up a 4.8 locally from a guy with a good reputation. So gave it a little refresh, resealed it, you know, the usual front and rear cover, gaskets, did the aluminum oil bypass barbell thing. I just want this thing to be strong, never lose oil pressure. We're planning on running an AccuSump sump because a dry sump is kind of out of the question as far as the budget is concerned right now. So it's going to be a pretty simple build, I guess you could say, as far as an LS goes. It's got refreshed stock heads. I believe the 4.8s came with 706 head stock. It's got dual valve springs, aftermarket rocker arms with the trunnion upgrade, hardened push rods by Texas Speed. It's got a Texas Speed Torquer V2 cam in it. I believe the specs are 232, 234, 113 LSA, I think 0.6 inch lift. So it should be, I don't know, I read that they're a little bit aggressive for the 4.8s, but, you know, I like the driving style of, like, you know, lower torque 4 cylinders, I guess you could say, high revs. So I think this will suit me pretty well with the cam that's in it right now. So we already dug in pretty far. The thing is down to nothing. It's pretty much got the booster, master, and slave in it. Or, wow. Booster, brake master, clutch master, lines, and that's really it left in this car. So, as much as I wanted to just drive it for the season, that isn't really happening anyways because of this, whole pandemic. We decided to kind of just tear it apart. After seeing what the previous owner had done with the motor, I didn't really trust any of the other craftsmanship, or whatever you want to call it. Got it back here, among other things, found out that the mounts weren't even bolted to the subframe. They were just kind of sitting there. They didn't even have nuts on them. So with that said, this thing came completely apart so I can touch everything myself. That way I know I can beat the crap out of this thing and not have it literally fall apart. So it's gonna be pretty simple, I guess, as far as like a competitive drift car is considered. It's LS T56. We're gonna run some of the suspension, I believe, off of the gray KA car. I'm gonna take the lower control arm, front lower control arms, and PBM knuckles off of that, run them on here. This, I believe, or was told, not that I honestly really trust it, this is apparently a modded knuckle by Villains. Extended lower control arm, looks like maybe an inch, 25 mil. 5 lug front and rear, Z32 brakes, Z32 rear dual caliper setup. Yeah, we're pretty much gonna be redoing everything in this car. I've got a sweet ARC 8000D switch panel that's gonna go in and replace this because it's kind of an eyesore, honestly. It's got the nameless handbrake in it, which I kind of like. The other car has an ASD setup by MA Motorsports that I wanted to move over. But for the sake of keeping that car together as like a seat time practice car, we're going to reuse what we can on this. I don't really like, I can't even see it. I don't really like how this is mounted. I prefer it on the left side of the trans tunnel, like kind of closer to the wheel. So, there's going to be a lot that we're gonna have to redo on this car. This whole interior is gonna go into the gray car, the KAT car. And this one's gonna get gutted, caged, the whole nine. So, remember it. This is what it looks like right now. And hopefully, by the end of the month, I wanna have this thing running, at least motor-wise, drivetrain-wise. But we still have a long road ahead of us. A long road ahead of man, I haven't built a car from the ground up in a while. This is the first time doing it inside in a shop, so this is honestly a luxury to me, which should make this go a lot smoother. But I can't wait. This is gonna be new to me. I've never been a V8 guy. I've always, dreamed of having like a KAT, which I have now. I love SR cars. I really, really wanted a JZ S13. I sold a 1J VVTi Cressida MX-83 before I picked this one up. So here's to hoping that I'll like a V8 drivetrain, but we got a lot of work to do, so we might as well get started. So I hope you guys stick with me through this journey. It's going to be an interesting one, and it's probably going to kick my ass, but you never know until you get started, right? So if you guys want to keep up with this, I'd appreciate it. Having people cheer me on is probably going to be one of the big things that's going to keep me going on this, because there's a lot of work to do. So like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think I should add to this. I'm new to the LS world. So here goes nothing. Peace, guys. Thank you.